to finding calm in the chaos. I am Denise Sith, and this is my podcast. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh my gosh. Oh, Saturday. You guys, December is ripping through. It is December 7th, and there are literally, 2 more weekends before Christmas, because it comes on a Wednesday, which is kind of bogus. I'm not going to lie. And actually, it falls on a Wednesday. Therefore, there will not be a podcast that day, but I will do a Saturday show. There's that. Only because I'm going to be too busy the weekend before to record. So, and I'm not going to put that pressure on me. I'm not going to do it. It's the new me. So, what's going on, my friends? Let me explain something to you. We did 2 holiday markets with Popcorn World, and we did good. So we're trying to figure it out. I'm still waiting for my author copies that we ordered directly from the publisher. Insert eye roll here. And we still haven't gotten them. So when I get those, we're going to do like a signed copy thing. But in all honesty, I'm so busy. And he's super happy about like his progress so far. So we're just going to hold off. Keep doing our sponsor spots on the podcast. And then every now and then I'll throw it in my stories. But if you have not bought a copy to support him, we do have a second edition coming out because we finally got the approval from the Library of Congress, or got our PIN number or whatever the heck it's called. So I'm going to insert that into the copyright page. And then there were a few, there was a grammatical error and a spelling error that we caught. Listen, I read that book like 100 damn times. Mr. Sith read it and friends read it, and not a dang person caught him. So there's that. So we have those corrected, and hopefully those will be submitted by, I think it's this weekend. And then depending on how long it takes Kindle Publishing to approve them, they'll just go on printing the second edition rather than the first with the corrections. If you have one that had the errors in them, guess what? You now have a limited edition special first copy. And we noted them accordingly. They actually say first edition in the systems, that ISBN. So when Peter's rich and famous is what he said, he's like, just tell everybody that when I'm rich and famous, that like now they have like a special book and they can like sell it and make lots of money. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll let everybody know. Okay. That's my kid. What else is going on? I am putting together, now that the craft fairs are over. Okay. I'm like, thank you. Woo, man, done. I pretty much sold all of my hats. So I have just enough left to fill my holiday baskets that I'm giving to like a select few special people in my life. We decided to do homemade baskets. So I have a whole week and a half of just baking, prepping, crafting. Yeah. And making cocoa and coffee bombs. Just saying. Came up with all these ideas and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do that. So hopefully I have enough time to do it all. I mean, I'm not planning a big dinner. So I'm like, cool. Works for me. You know what I'm saying? So, what else is going on? We did the crafts fair. That's all done. We're doing the Christmas boxes. I still have a few more things to put up Christmas wise, like decor in the house, but it's all like the high stuff that Mr. Sith does. Like I can't reach up there. And I'm certainly not getting on any ladders. You know what I'm saying? So just a few more places that we have to put the high up stuff. And I'm done. I'm ready. It's been super relaxing. Friends, I cannot tell you how important it is to care for yourself. And let me tell you something. I really made the decision to hold boundaries firm this year. And I said, I've hosted Christmas almost every year of my adult life. And I decided I wasn't doing it this year. And it's been fabulous. I mean, I don't know about everybody else. I hope they're all having wonderful Christmases, but mine is delightful. I absolutely friggin' love it. I absolutely love it. So let's get back. So let's get to the episode. I don't know. I'm here like randomly talking for 5 minutes. Welcome to my world. But I wanted to talk today about something that crossed my path. I think it was a reel or something, and it like slapped me in the face. It like woke me up hard. It was like slap. Okay. But it was like some sort of preacher, pastor preaching, and just kind of giving a word of advice about something that we always say. And it really, the way he honed in on it was like, wait, what? And then I sat there and I started contemplating, and I'm like, this is like pretty deep. And it's something that I used to say all the time, but I didn't inadvertently mean it the way I am guessing that it was coming out. And so it's interesting that when I look back at saying this, and again, this is my podcast, so if you're offended, I'm really sorry, but not sorry. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just living like what I've lived. It's my life. And so I just tell stories based around and lessons that I've learned around my life. And so one of those things that I used to say all the time, because it's almost like a little echo chamber, if you know what I mean, was back before I rescued myself from the MLM world, I used to always say to live your truth. Like, live your truth. You do you. Now, I do like the you do you, okay? However, now the more I've walked along this path that I really would never have chosen for myself, clearly I've just given up on trying to reinvent things myself. And on the spiritual path, I have really figured out finally to just go where the Holy Spirit is leading you, people. For me, it was like, stop fighting it and just walk. And it's just been so much calmer and relaxing since. Just saying. And one of those things that I look back on was, man, just saying that you're living your truth. It could, when you kind of evaluate it and analyze it, man, say that word real quick. Analyze it a little bit. It's really by saying that you're living your truth and you are spiritual, Christian, or whatever, right? It's a dangerous kind of white lie. You know what I'm saying? Because the idea behind living your truth is that you should accept yourself, right? And do what makes you happy. Regardless of societal, pressures and what your friends say and what your family says. But if you really dissect that a little, it kind of mentally, it can. I'm not saying it does, but it can mentally excuse you for some character flaws. Possibly doing some white lie things. I don't want to say sin, but I mean, if you're telling white lies, you're committing a sin. You know what I'm saying? If you're Christian, you certainly are. But think about that, because this isn't about our truth. It's the Bible teaches us that Jesus is the truth and that there's only one truth, not multiple truths, right? I mean, okay, so I only know that in John, you guys, I'm working on the Bible thing, okay? I'm doing all of the devotionals, I'm doing the Bible studies, but I do not have a recollection of just spurting off what it is. I'm pretty sure it's John, though, where he says God's word is truth, right? Jesus is the truth. So if you're saying that you're living your truth, then that kind of gets a little sketchy, right? Because you really should be living God's truth. And so actually, we all kind of have been talking about this. And when I look back at it, And I actually went back and listened to something that I had went live on while I was in MLM. And I contradicted myself without even thinking it, which MLM people do an awful lot because you're basically living a lie. I said it and I don't care anymore. So anyway, what happened is I talked about living your truth and that you will see God's path for you. But that is contradictory. You should be living God's truth. So if this is true, you can't do both. You should accept the path that God's given for you, and then your life will be rewarding and just as a result of it, doing the work he intended for you. No, I'm new at this. So, but I thought to myself, a loving God, loving him, you have a relationship with him that means loving truth, right? And living out his truth. So that kind of just makes more sense to me. I am a living proof, my friends, that when you just stop trying to do it the hard way and your own way, sometimes we're not here to live our truths. We're here to live the path and what has our God-given talents that he has given us to do things in this world, whatever that may be. It could be anything, and nothing's too small and nothing's too big. Because if he chose it, it's perfect for you, right? That's the beauty of it, right? It doesn't change. He could have changed. You know, what I'm saying is that you will know when you're on the right path, the one that he's chosen for you. I knew immediately that I was like, you know what? I need to stop being so obsessed with like social media. And once I broke free from the MLM, it was so much easier. And now I almost think as a result of being in MLM for so long and kind of being forced on the phone, because you are, okay? It is not time freedom. It is not freedom to spend time with your family. All you do is work 24/7 just to keep your head afloat. Period. Unless you're a rodeo cowgirl and you're a recruiting queen. So it's just the way it is. And I just thought to myself, how was I just so caught up in everything? And now when I look back, I don't even like to be on my phone right now. In fact, I tell Mr. Sith all the time, like he came to the table and he had his phone with him. And I'm like, who are you texting? We're eating. Like they can wait until you're done eating. I don't want to see any phones at the table. Like that is a bad example to set to Peter. He doesn't have a phone and he ain't getting one anytime soon. That's for sure. And I don't care. Like, I don't care what your friends say. I'm all ready. Like, I'm that mom. I don't care. Oh, it's for safety. I'm going to know where my kids are. We can't watch them 24/7, but I'm as much of a mama bear as anybody. But you can't just like, no, my kid's not going to be 9, 10 having like an iPhone. Get the heck out of here right now with that nonsense. I can't even get him to pick up his Legos and I'm going to give him a phone. Like, I don't think so. So loving God, right? Living in God's truth, walking in God's truth. It means accepting him. I mean, just think how big this is. It not only does it make life easier for you, but you're literally accompanying him. You're following him. You're being watchful and cautious of what is ahead, but under his guide. It's like carefree. You don't have to have like your blinders on or your cautionary signs and, your alert signals, oh, this one's not working. I got to find my new truth and move to this and move to that. And it's not meant to be that hard. It's not meant that hard to be hard. And I am the first person to admit I was making it hard. Like I am a professional make it harder. I've just made that a word. That is a term, a make it harder person. I'm a professional make it harder. It's ridiculous. Hey, better late than never. I'll take 55 years. Better late than never. And then I also thought, like, if you are following in God's truth rather than your own, before you make a decision, it really helps you draw yourself closer to God. So as you are reflecting on the things that he wants you to do next, which is what I do now, like I literally reflect and sit down and really pray on it almost that, what do you want me to do next? Like, what is my decision? What is my direction? You bring it to God. You ask for his guidance. So it's a win-win with all of this. Okay. And I just got through reading Revelations in my Bible study group. Probably want to get on a path soon. I was like, this was so surprising to me as like a recovering Catholic, now Christian. It is a difference. That's another thing. I saw a comedy bit once about a woman who said, I didn't, the other day, I told somebody said that, like, whatever, they were following Jesus or something like that. And she said, well, yeah, we're both Christians, amen. And she was like, oh, you're Christian. And she was like, well, I'm Catholic. It's the same thing. And they were like, no, it's not. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Jesus is everything. Jesus is, and she goes, and I thought to myself, as a Catholic, that's really nice, because I grew up basically being raised, and she goes into this tirade that is freaking hilarious about how she was told never to bother Jesus, and that there were tons of people that you could reach out prior. Like, first you can pray on it, and then you can consult like your what was it? Your guardian angel. And then if you couldn't pray on it and get an answer, and your guardian angel is available 24/7, but for whatever reason you didn't work it out with them, there are hundreds of saints assigned to problems. So find the problem that you have. And then if that doesn't work out, you can also try Mary, Jesus's mom. She's there for you too. But like, you don't need to go directly to Jesus. He's busy. Don't bother him. And I was laughing so hard because unless you're Catholic, you don't realize how incredibly insane that is. Or you don't realize how incredibly true it is. But then when you were Catholic, if you're a Catholic who is now Christian, it is two different things. And the difference is Jesus. Just saying. You have a direct relationship with Jesus as a Christian. Catholics? Oh no, that is it's like a hierarchy mafia. Sorry if I offended people. No, I'm not sorry. I'm still in recovery from growing up Roman Catholic, in all honesty. Boom. That's not a joke, okay? There are still things that happen when I go to church that I'm uncomfortable with. I'll share that in a minute. But what I'm saying is that it is super true. And you don't really know until you're a Christian that was a Catholic how incredibly sad that is, and undermining, actually, in how to have, to me, a great relationship with Jesus. And so I know I turned this whole episode into kind of like a spiritual thing. I'm going to take a break for a little bit and then we're going to come back. But it is my podcast. Let's take a quick break for our sponsor. See you soon.
Hello, I'm Peter Sith, and I'm here to tell you about something you have to have for your kids. My new book, Popcorn World. Peek inside my creative brain and meet Dylan, an ordinary kid who accidentally finds a portal to his new world in his basement while looking for his lost soccer ball. Your kids will totally be able to relate to Dylan and all his emotions, trials, and big act of kindness in my story. I worked on creating this book over the summer with my awesome tutor, Dr. Peterson. She helped me guide me through the parts of my book, and boom, Popcorn World was created. Another cool fact, my mom does all the drawings. Trust me, these pictures and the story are super cool. but you can find out yourself by picking up a copy on Amazon, and it's available worldwide. So even if my family and friends in Slovakia, Canada, Scotland, and Italy can get a copy of Popcorn World. Don't forget the name, Popcorn World. Available on Amazon now! Let's make reading cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we are back. And I just made my life like 3 times harder during that break because when I was recording, I was distracted and I stopped recording versus pause the recording so I could insert the sponsor spot. And now I have to mesh 2 audio recordings together. I am a hot mess express, but you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. I love our sponsor. I got so many cute little messages about, his voice on the thing. And I'm like, I know he's so cute. He's so cute. And I love it. So that's what we were talking about was living your truth versus living God's truth. And, wrapping it up. That's kind of what you got to do, right? Live God's truth. And somehow so basically your truth should be God's truth. When you break it down, which I am, I broke it down just now. I gave you 3 reasons. All right? Because you're going to be loving God, walking in God's truth, and bringing decisions to God. And you know what? That's a win-win. That's a trio right there. That's a trio. What are you guys doing for, here's my thing. Has anybody gone into a store to shop anymore? I'm totally done with the episode I'm going to ramble on right now. Because this has really been like interesting to me. So there are a few things I need to do. I got to get to World Market to do like stocking stuffers and stuff like that. I love that store. If you do not have a World Market, I'm obsessed and I'm sorry for you. It is fantastical. And you can get so many imported goods there, like good stuff, instead of all the garbage candy that they sell in this candy. Sorry if you like American garbage candy, but I do not. But just like decent chocolate stocking stuffers, or I'll be honest with you, like we're big into nuts. We like pistachios and fancy spice nuts. We do all that kind of stuff because it's yummy. Because it's yummy for your tummy. I was going to try to make some spice nuts, but I don't think I can, so I'm going to buy them instead. And it is what it is. I think I may, no, I'll probably buy them. There's that. It's a thought that counts. 90% of my little Christmas giveaway gift bags are going to be handmade. And then a few little treats that are not. What else? Oh, check this out. So next weekend, we have our Cocoa Crawl local here. It is, first off, we went last year and we had a great time, even though it rained. I was like, whatever. They have ice sculptures and they do a live ice sculpturing. They have one of those like iceless skating rinks in the street. All of the different participants, all the businesses in our little downtown area. And it's so quaint and adorable. And there's like a little park. And our downtown area has all these cute little nooks. So instead of like empty abandoned spaces between buildings or whatnot, or like alleyways, they have made them into little like nooks of seating with artificial turf. So like it looks nice all the time. I love it. And fire tables and fire pits. It's amazing. And they're all lit. And you go from business to business and you have a mug that you buy and you just fill up hot cocoa. And then they have a s'mores thing. So we also have the s'mores for Pete. He loves that. And we had a great time last year. We're going next Saturday. So that's going to be a blast. We also have a luminary hike that's coming up. I'm a little nervous about this because I'm not going to lie. I'm still struggling with this ankle. So when I had surgery to fix it 2 years ago, That didn't go as expected. And then I tripped over Buster and nailed my foot that I had the surgery on, toes first, into the Peloton bike. Stop it right now. That's what you're feeling. Like, just imagining it was 100 times worse. And I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure I blew out anything that was fixed in surgery. The bonus is that the surgery made it numb and tingly. So I never really feel anything now. It's always freaking numb. Fun time. So I know that if I didn't have that, I'd be in pain. So there's that, right? Bright side of town. Always look at the bright. Isn't this something like that? I don't know what that's on. Wasn't that Monty Python or something? I don't even know. Peter was singing something from Monty Python the other day, and I just looked at my husband and I'm like, please tell me that you did not sit down and watch a Monty Python movie with my kid. And he goes, no, we didn't. He's like, but we have watched Spaceballs. And I'm like, well, Spaceballs is funny. Let's be honest. It is. I don't want to watch it. Here's my thing. A lot of those movies, I like Airplane, Spaceballs, Monty Pythons, Benny Hill. It was funny when I was a kid, but I feel like now it's just like loony. Like it's just, they're ridiculous is what it is. And so I feel like I've gotten to the age where things that I used to think were funny are now just imbecilic. Is that a word? I just feel like they're imbeciles. And like skibbity, that word that all the kids use now, that is stupid. I said the word. It's just dumb. I don't like it. And I'm sure that a lot of people didn't. You know what other word I can't stand that kids use all the time again? Dope. That's so dope. Really? Really? I don't know. Maybe because my generation referred to dope as drugs. Like, no, I don't like it at all. I'm officially old. Okay, following weekend, Luminary hike. We're doing a Luminary hike. This is where I was going with before the tangent. So I'm worried because it is a trail that is lit by like 100,000, like not 100,000, hundreds to up to 1,000 plus luminaries on a unkept trail. So it's just, you're walking the walk. You're in the woods. Okay. So it's like not a specific paved path, blah, blah, blah. So it is unkept. If there's snow on it. And I got enough problems walking like on flat, dry ground. So I'm super worried about it. But I want to do it because apparently along this luminary walk, it goes through the birth of Jesus. You get the story with like actors of Jesus and Mary, or Joseph and Mary, and the wise men in the north. And I'm like, this sounds so adorable. Like I want to go. But see, these are the things that happen when you have lupus or autoimmune. You can't really rely whether or not you're going to be on for that day. So sometimes you're going to make events and you may or may not make it. So, but this next Saturday is going to be busy. So it's not a Saturday podcast day anyway, but we've got that Cocoa Crawl in the morning. We've got our Ice Hogs versus the Wild that evening. And I think we got a game, an Ice Hogs game. Yeah, on Sunday is too. So Saturday, Sunday games. We started off our Rockford Ice Hogs. So that's an AHL. We love hockey. We are a hockey house and we were doing so well. This is the time to go to the bathroom if you're not a hockey fan. I don't feel bad. Go ahead. Get yourself a drink. You'll be fine. But for my friends that do like hockey, can I just say when you start off the year and it's so sketch and you're like, man, I got season tickets and they're going to blow all year. And then all of a sudden, they start pulling it together. Now, we don't have a crappy team, but we have young, fresh boys that are all extremely talented in their own ways. under crappy coaching. And I know people are like, I don't like when people like talk about the coaches and they've never been a coach. But you know what? I've known hockey my whole life, and he's a crappy coach. It's time for a coaching change. I was just talking about that, I believe, on this podcast, not a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago. I tell my husband every damn game. However, what happened is the Chicago Blackhawks, which is obviously the NHL, they are the NHL affiliate to our Rockford Ice Hogs in the AHL. And they just fired their coach because they suck horribly and they need a new coach and then some, and some heavy prayers. But they should be happy because once they get a new coach, they got a whole bunch of boys down here in Rockford that are just developing and becoming the amazing superstars that they should be by the time they get up there. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, they grabbed our Rockford Ice Hogs coach and they threw him up in Chicago as a quote unquote interim coach. I got news for you right now. I'm hoping that stands for what it usually stands for. And that is they're going to hire a new coach for the Blackhawks. And then they're going to get rid of this guy because he needs to go. And he needs a fresh time. I'm sure he's a great coach. He needs a fresh, team, and we need a fresh coach. So I'm super excited about it. I have no idea who our coach is. I have gotten zero information. We don't have like a real communicative like ticket office for season ticket holders. I believe in Rockford, but I like our particular Rock. He's cool. He's our third one since we've been here, but I do like him the most. There's that, right? All right, next. So if you don't like hockey, I want to hear good vibes from my Rockford Ice Hogs. When I finish recording today, it's actually a day they're having a game and the boys are off doing like game night, e-game night. So they all bring like Mr. Sith brought like 3 monitors and 2 laptops. So they're setting up all these monitors and laptops with games and old games, and everybody brings all their electronic stuff, and then they all play games all night. And I'm like, sweet, I get to watch the hockey game in peace while I'm crocheting, which say some prayers, peeps, because I have to finish this blanket in like a week and a half. And I just started it. Just saying. Because it's for a Christmas present. It's for one of the baskets. Yeah, it's for one of the dang baskets. It's crazy. Anyway, so what else is going on? We have one more week of our co-op before we go on our Christmas New Year's break, which means we are off then until February, which is going to be glorious because then I don't have to get up and we could do some field trips and all sorts of fun things. We already planned like 2 field trips. So I think we're going to Legoland and something else. I don't even know. What else are we doing? Oh, I have a note here. So I couldn't read it. And then I'm like, wait, what does that say? Dear Santa. Okay. If you don't know this, there's a new movie with Jack Black called Dear Santa. Please don't let your kids watch this movie. Now, I'm really particular about what Peter watches, and I know some people don't care. But if you are listening to my podcast, there is a huge likelihood that you care about what your kids do and what they eat and what they view and how they're taught and blah, blah, blah. So I would be remiss to mention that this movie is not for kids, regardless of what the title says. It's not kid friendly. I do think that some of the stuff that is said would probably go over your kid's head if, like, Peter is very, he's still innocent. He's still an innocent child. He believes so wholeheartedly in Santa and our elf on the shelf, and I'm all in. He has a big imagination, and I know that sometimes people look at him, friends whose kids are like, already smoking dope and not joking, and, doing whatever. They'll always be like, oh, he's kind of like childlike. He's a child. That's why he's childlike. See how that works? It's kind of like a play on words, because it is. He's a child. And a lot of people will make it seem like your child is immature or whatnot. And please, please, if you have a son or a daughter like Peter is, and they are just so magically minded and imaginative and innocent, let them stay that way. The world is freaking cruel. They'll know soon enough. So like carry it on for them. Do something for them. Oh, it's choking me up. Whew. I'm telling you, there's the littlest things in the world now that like, I'm always like, why do you want your kids to grow up so fast? Not me. Mind you, it gets on my very last nerve sometime when you wake up and you're in a rush and you're trying to do something. And he's just like, Mom, and I just need him to get his damn shoes on so we can get out of the house or we're going to miss something. And he's going, Mom, so you pretend that I'm a baby dragon and I cannot do this right now. And I always feel horrible after because I'm like, oh man, all I had to do was be like, okay, I'm Mama Dragon. And Mama Dragon says, please put on your shoes. But you know, we all are human, but please let your kids be kids. I'm always just like, whatever, you know, stop letting your kid be a jerk off. How about that? I'm into the new wave. I think 2025 is the year that we're all going to stop raising assholes and communists. Yep, I said it. Anyway, moving along. Don't watch Dear Santa. Now, if you're an adult, the movie is pretty damn funny. However, this is where I'm at on my spiritual journey. And I'm kind of like trying to find a medium. And I've talked to some of my Christian friends about this, and they're like, it's totally okay. It's totally okay because in your heart, you know. And I'm like, okay, are you sure? And they're like, I always lean on I always call it like my long-term Christian friends, the ones who were deep, and they've been wonderful guides in my journey. And so I'm like, sorry to ask this stupid question, but sometimes I feel like when I'm watching this, the premise of this is basically somebody sells their soul to the devil. And I'm like, yeah, I don't find that funny. I'm like, I just finished reading Revelations. I don't think that's funny. If you know, you know. But I'm like, I don't know. So I'm going to watch it tomorrow with Mr. Sith and see like what he thinks. And if like, for me, I feel like if it was just, and Disney does this garbage all the time. They slide in adult jokes, especially in the newer stuff like Moana, and they slide in adult jokes all the time and just assume they'll go over your kid's head. It does if you're raising your kids to remain innocent and in that imaginative world. But if your kids are in the reality world, they get all of those little nuances and comments and then I feel like the inappropriateness of them is what is part of the problem with some kids today, because then it kind of makes them feel like it's normal, and it's not normal for kids to think of certain things. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to go on a huge rant here, but I just feel like, you know, stop. But I feel like, do I want him to do that? So even if some of those things went over his head, do I really want him to see like a bunch of people selling their soul to the devil because it's just fun? No, not really. Because he doesn't have the mind to understand yet. You know, he's like totally in it. The other day, he was, we were talking about something, we were in homeschool session, and he said something, and I was just like, listen, he will make a lesson twice as long as it needs to be, just because he's wandering with these imaginative things in between. So sometimes I have to be very firm and say, listen, right now we are in a lesson. We're talking about marine biology and only marine biology, because he started off with this dragon stuff. And I said, that's what we're doing. You can imagine that you're a dragon. Imagine Dragons. Yep, he likes them too. Literally, the band. And I was like, I'd rather just, let's get the lesson, then we can pretend all you want. But lesson first. This is important. I swear. He literally got up and went to, like, my coffee table has like the tabletop, the top of it lifts, half of it is hinged, and we keep blankets in there. It's like cedar. So he opens it up and then proceeds to put a blanket over his head, which is one of those blankets that look like animals. So he comes, sits down at the table, and he is a shark. Okay, number one, I really can't be mad in this moment because he is sitting there wearing a fuzzy shark blanket over his head where his head looks like it's like a hoodie. And he goes, "Oh, perfect. Today we're doing sharks." And I'm like, okay, I got nothing. I was just like, yeah, can you just put the shark blanket to the side just so you're like focusing? And then he acts like he doesn't do anything. Like, so my kid is just like Mr. Sith in that he can appear that he's wandering. He appears that he's literally not paying attention to you and doing his own thing. But then as soon as you ask him a question about what's going on, he answers it. And it's so frustrating. It's like, what? I just spent 20 minutes trying to get you on task and you totally can answer all the questions. He did that with the spelling test. He took his spelling test today, and I know he hardly even looked at those words. But apparently he looked at them enough because he only got 2 wrong out of 23, and they were tough words. Like, you know, with the new word families, you know, like thought. I think it was thought and wrinkle. And after he spelled wrinkle, he got mad because he was like, oh, it was L-E, not E-L. And it was like, well, see, technically, you could have gotten 100 since you corrected them before I even corrected your paper. All right, that's all I got today, peeps. I'm going to go watch hockey, enjoy my evening without the boys. You guys get this podcast for tomorrow, I think. I don't even know what day it is. And I think it's tomorrow. And you guys have a fabulous weekend. Until next Wednesday, lead with kindness and lean on God. Bye-bye.